Hello everyone. Today we are speaking in English because of our special guest. Everyone, let me introduce you Patrick Kitana Ettens. Patrick Kitana Ettens is a social activist, scholar, humanist, erudite, philanthropist, speaker, and a great soul. We met in April at a 36th Global Conference of Alzheimer's Disease International in Krakow. I get inspired about his persona, and I would like everyone to remember Patrick's golden thoughts. Get up and start exploring more. Meet others like yourself. Talk about your condition with others. And don't be afraid to open up and express yourself. For those who don't know, Alzheimer's disease is a part of dementia. It is a neurological disorder, manifests itself in problems with memory, thinking, or recognition. It involves problems with long-term memory, speech problems, problems recognizing and defining objects, while dementia is a disorder with memory, communication, and everyday activities. The factors of Alzheimer's disease are not further specified. The disorder mainly addresses elderly people, women, diabetics, genetic determinants of Alzheimer's in the family, gene mutations. Unfortunately, this disease is incurable. Would you like to share with us what do you do with dementia?
So I set up the world's first LGBT dementia network. And I developed it as a result of me having to go to support groups that I did not feel inclusive about. And that was not the fault of anybody else. It was just the simple fact that at that time, for myself, at that age of 31, to go to a support group where I had to watch people who were 25 years together with their wives and had their kids taking care of them, I saw a prospect of a life that I would never have. When you get dementia at such a young age, a lot of things change. You know, either having a family or a partner just left. And that was very disturbing for me. It was very upsetting. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want anyone from my community to feel that isolated or alone. So the first thing I did was try to set up a support group. From there, I took off trying to go internationally with my work to make sure that care homes, hospitals, lecturers, doctors, everyone and anyone who dealt with dementia would understand that our community had extra needs. And by that I meant, when we did research, we realized there's a lot of single people who are from our community. There's no guarantee that you would have a partner in the future. But also, that came from the simple fact that a lot of us came from eras which it was illegal to be gay. And when you get older, your brain starts remembering things from the past. You start believing that you're in that era again. Mm-hmm. Also, studies show that LGBTQ plus people do not out themselves in care homes. So you have care homes, but then no one admits that they're gay. And then we had to find out why. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my work that I have done is to bring awareness for the trans, non-binary community, for LGBTQ plus community, for people of color, anyone and everyone in our community that is isolated. So that is a lot of the work that I do at the moment.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And when I speak it out loud, I realize there's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and you're the voice of the communities.
I try to be the voice for all communities, yeah. I was born with color. I was born with two personalities. I was born as an LGBTQ plus person who has a female counterpart. And within the trans community, it's a taboo to mention dementia because they don't go to hospitals for care. Because they don't feel included, or you don't want to put a trans woman in a male ward. They're terrified of it. They don't want to be ridiculed and have that prejudice towards them. And these are the sort of things I represent when I dress up. Like, you met me as my Kitana, as my female part. And I did that for the simple fact that that's part of who I am. But also there's a lot of women out there who are 24 hours, 7 days a week a woman. I only dress up occasionally, and I use that for my work as a sense of representation. But for those transgender sisters of mine who have to live their lives like that, I admire them, but they're terrified of having that condition. Who will take care of them when they go to their doctors? For transgender women, when they start declining, they don't remember that they've transitioned sometimes. It's disorientating, but you need to be around people who can support you and make you understand why you did what you did, And that's the horrifying, scary aspect about it. I want to go into a care home and still be able to put on my pair of heels, because heels made me feel strong and powerful. But also, it's because anyone from our community is vulnerable. And, our community is vast and wide, and we never like to think that we're getting older. We live in an era where it is very ageist. We think young and youthful is always going to last forever, but when you become sick, you have to make sure that you have the right appropriate care for yourself. So that's what I was trying to do with my life, is to make sure that whatever suffering and pain I went through, you didn't have to in the end, because there was something there for you.
Yes, that's the biggest flex, when you've got people who understand you and who can just give you the trust and helping hand. For me, it doesn't matter what outfit, you are still you, and it was a gift because you were born as you. So it's a big gift, I think. And also, we've got so many challenges every day. Everyone's got their ups and downs, right? But how to don't give up and shine every day? Because we've got struggles every day, because we are just humans.
Yeah, it's a hard question. I looked at that one and went, how do I get up? I don't know how I get up sometimes. It's only very recently, like going to Krakow really... So that was the second time I went to an event as my female side.
Okay.
And I never felt so at one with myself. I did it once in Helsinki, and this time I went with a colleague of mine, a friend of mine. She was a student. Mm-hmm. She was a student of mine that listened to a lecture, and because of my lecture, her life changed. And she became a very good friend of mine. And
Poppy, right?
Yeah, Poppy, yes, that's right. She was now she's a dementia nurse, and she's the manager in the hospital, in the care home, or in the hospital. And I had support. I think support is what's given me that life to go out there and do my work. It is very hard from anyone in my community not to survive long enough if you don't have support. And to get up and shine every day, I do affirmations. So I read somewhere that if every day you tell something positive about yourself, your DNA will change. Whether it's true or not, but I do believe in those little things like that. And I have a lot of criticism for being myself. So I have to get up and look in the mirror and go, I love myself. I feel beautiful. I'm a goddess. I say things like that to myself because I do believe it. You don't walk this world every single day with shine in your eyes and you feel the glory of life. You don't. Every day you wake up and you look in the mirror and you don't like always what you see, or you start noticing things are changing, or you don't feel like you get enough attention. It's hard, but there are moments where I have to remind myself of the good things that I do for others, and the good friends I have around me. I have very good friends. Bit by bit, I'm gathering good friends around me. Even at 41, I'm still learning to get better support network. And I think that is and a good family. Like I have visions of what my future, I want my future to be, and I fight to make sure I get there. How I get there, I don't know. I just know that I take any opportunity I can to better myself, or to try to make someone else happier, or to make myself comfortable. Mm-hmm. I need to take time for me a lot of the times. So to get up and shine is... I'm in Spain at the moment on holiday with my best friend and another friend, and I just sit back sometimes and I just watch people. And by watching people, sometimes you learn by connections that is what's really important.
Yes.
It's important for us to have connections, because those connections, when you're sad, bring you up, and when you're down, they should bring you up. And I think that's what kind of gets me going every single day, is that I have to remember I do goodness for for myself and others, that I leave a legacy behind.
Okay.
That's all I want to do. Yeah.
With people, you can discover your passion, and like Poppy starts new path in your life.
Exactly.
But yes, but also I think you can tell that you're lucky, because instead of bad and good days, you got still your people. So is that true? Maybe.
Yeah, your tribe. As we call it, your tribe. You have your tribe that you go out with. You know, everyone needs a tribe to identify with. But don't allow just one tribe. Open your mind to have other aspects of people into your life. Whether they stay in your life for a long time or they're in your life for short periods, that's good. Because your dynamic of your understanding towards other people changes. Like you were at Krakow, you were at the conference, but your mind changed when you listen to other people's stories. And that's humbling for anyone because it could happen to anybody.
Yes, of course.
There's 1 in 3 people can develop dementia. At the moment, in this room, is 2 of us. I have it already. If another person came in and another person, that prospect changes. So the thing with dementia is the fact that it could affect anybody and anybody at any point in time. There's no guarantee in life that it won't happen to you. But if it does, how will you address that?
Can you tell me maybe about dementia and about Alzheimer's disease? What is the most typical stereotype about these disorders?
Alzheimer's can be, they do a test for it, but dementia, there's 230 or 250 different types of brain functions, different types of dementia, and there's an umbrella term that's used for it. And people think that it's all about forgetting things, but it's not. I have lost parts of my personality. So I remember who I am, but I don't know how I got there. So it's like you're driving in a car, but you don't know how to drive it. It's very disorientating sometimes. So I remember being a very confident person, but there's moments where I'll forget certain key aspects about my life that made me confident. And until I remember that, then I can feel confident. And this is the part of that dementia people don't understand. Because I'm young, I've learned to analyze a lot of aspects about my own condition. And it takes away your functionality. Like you get tired a lot of the times. Because for me, it's like a battery. When you walk down the street every day, you analyze your steps, the people around you, your environment. But when your brain starts getting tired, it's like a battery, it drains you. Every thought or every movement of your eye, it takes away. And it slowly, bit by bit, it gets more and more exhausted. It also affects your nervous systems. It affects so much of your body and your personality that this is the part that people don't seem to understand. That it's not just about losing sight of who you are. It's losing the complete functionality of your of yourself.
Yes.
So it's constantly feels like you're in if you're in a trip, and by trip I mean it's like being in a dream. You open your eyes and you can't tell whether you're in a dream or not. And that's what it's like for some people a lot of the times when you start degenerating. It's disorientating because you keep jumping from one part of who you were, and the next minute you are acting another way because you forgot. Yeah, it's scary sometimes. It really is a frightening aspect the older you degenerate with it. And you've watched yourself degenerate. That's what's crippling for the rest of us. For you, you can see us and some of us function, but in our heads, we feel stupider and stupider every day sometimes. It gets slower for us, and that's not easy for any human being who's worked so hard to get to a certain point in their life to only then go, I can't do this. I watch my dad who has dementia. He feels stupid, very intelligent person, but now he has to rely on anybody else to do certain things for him, and that's hard. You know, you start feeling the lack of humanity within yourself because you become so vulnerable. And that's the part of dementia people don't understand, is that we become so vulnerable that we have no choice but to allow others to take care of us. And sometimes you don't want that. You want your independence and you want your entire life.
That's why education is so important, and knowledge is a key to understanding.
Yeah. It is. Empathy with this condition is extremely important. You have to be able to have the empathy to take care of someone with dementia. You have to take your time with them. You can't rush things. And I drive here, I'm perfectly fine. It's because I have support around me. I have people around me who care and that let me be myself. And if I'm tired, they let me go to rest. But I have support. But when you have to function at a high level for a long period of time on your own, or you go to doctors that don't understand you, or you're scared because of the prejudice towards your how you identify as, those things add a lot of stress to the brain, and that can cause your dementia to increase. So when you're dealing with people like ourselves, it's extremely important to have that empathy for us.
What would you tell to the people who are scared of being with people suffering from dementia in their families or in their relationships? Because, relationships are also important.
Yeah. Get over it. Get over it. Because it's not about you're afraid. You're afraid of how that's affecting you because you're scared of seeing someone you care for or you love be sick. It's easier to walk away and think it's about you. We all don't like watching someone die. We don't like being around people who are ill because it makes us feel vulnerable. It's all about you. You're afraid of my condition because it's all about you. It's not about me. I've not done anything to you. It's all a self-reflection about your own views on death. Death is a part of life. We will all drop dead one day. There's one guaranteed thing about this life is that we will all die. I'm in front of you showing you a very horrible way that I will slowly degrade. And that's a reflection upon yourself. People are scared of this condition because it's about them, nothing to do with me. Dementia does not cause you to feel bad. It does take away a lot. It's traumatizing sometimes because you have to be there for someone in so many levels and in so many ways that it's hurtful and it's scary. But it's not as scary.
It's not as scary, yes. For example, my dad is suffering with skin problems and he's not scared to go to the beach. So I'm proud of him.
Yeah, because it gives light. Like, me with dementia, you see the good sides of me, but it gives you the empowerment. But there are moments in the future where I know it won't be like that. But that's only because, not only because those who are afraid of it, you just have to educate yourself. And not only that, understand that that's the same person you care for. And that's, are you in their life for a short period or a long period? And if that person knows that they can trust you, you can live and function well. I'm here with my best friend. I function so well around him because I know he cares for me. I don't feel like I have to put on a different persona to be around an individual. And this is the part where you have to look at yourself and go, can I be around myself if I was sick? Because being ill is a very scary aspect. But that person is not doing anything to you, but they do need you. That's a part of this condition, that you have to give up a little bit of yourself to be there for that other person. It's not like any other virus or condition. This demands you to have empathy for death. And that's a scary thing. Death is something that none of us want to think about. It's a part of life. Just for those who have to think of people with dementia, have the empathy, because it's just mostly for yourself. You are scared of something. And you have to ask yourself, what is it you're scared about?
It's a part of life. Yeah. We don't have to be scared.
Is it that person or is it you? What is it about you that you're scared about being around that person?
That's true.
Yeah.
What was the biggest surprise in your career?
My biggest surprise, that I would end up doing my work now as a female.
Okay.
And I got accepted by the Queen of Spain to have a picture with her. I met the royal family. I've been asked now to do more work around the world. And I have the confidence to pack a pair of heels in my bag and outfits and get on stage as a female and feel accepted. And that was the biggest part, I think, change of my career, is the fact that that's how I identify as when I do my work. And I'm comfortable with it. I don't need anyone else's approval more. I don't. And I thought to myself, I went through a bad period in my life, and the fact that I had those pictures taken, I met these individuals, like people like yourselves, your friend Peter, who was like, I think is so amazing. And I did it for 3 days, 5 days. I was a woman, and I just went. The biggest change and surprise in my career is the fact that I no longer need someone else's approval to do what I want to do, and that's taken 41 years to get to that stage. And I never thought that. I never envisioned doing it like that. I think maybe I thought maybe one day, but just never. That's the biggest change, is that now I have that name attached to myself, and that name is Kitana. I don't perform in clubs. My performance is on stage to change the world understanding for my community, and that's a different stage to perform on.
Speaking about traveling and being female, how many places did you visited by delegations with Alzheimer's disease?
I went to Helsinki, I've been to Krakow, I've been to Scotland, soon I will be in Ireland, I've been to Malta as well. I've not been to Canada, I've not been to the States, but I've done work for them via Zoom. Because of the COVID situation, a lot changed. But bit by bit, I feel like I could get there now. I'm going to Panama in September. Nice. So this year I would have visited another country to speak as a female. And that's all as a result of just being in Krakow. From Helsinki to Krakow, Malta, Helsinki, Krakow, and soon Panama.
Oh, congratulations then. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you very much.
What did you learn from the delegations?
That no matter where you go, there are people out there who really care for you.
Yeah.
And you get the chance to inspire anyone and everyone from any point in time while you're there. You know, it is such an important event because you don't know who you're going to meet, when you're going to meet them, and how you're going to meet them, and how much your presence can change and impact somebody's life.
And finally, can you share us the most memorable moment from your journey since it started?
Well, my entire 10 years almost?
Yes.
God, there are so many.
Could be two things.
Receiving my first award was one of my biggest memories. I can still remember it in my mind.
Okay.
To be recognized for my work was amazing. And then to get a second award was amazing. To have a student who's now my best friend because of the work that I do. To be accepted as a female when I do my work. To realize that that's a calling for myself. Mm-hmm. To see that a chapter that I wrote in a book is now used as studies for students in the UK for their masters. In order for them to receive their masters, they have to study a chapter that I wrote. That's incredible for me. I look back and go, oh my God, that's in the history now. That is someone's studies. They have to do that to get their masters in dementia. And it's work that I helped develop. That's a legacy. I'm very spiritual, and I always thought, if God gave me this, He gave it to me for a reason. And that when I close my eyes, I know I left a legacy behind on this world. And I can at least gratefully go up in front of Him and go, I think I've done something good. And I think that's the part of this journey, is that I have made an impact, not just on one for myself. I have proof that I've impact on others. And that's, in this world, we all want to make an impact and we all want to leave something behind. Mm-hmm. And we all think that our pains are just our own. But sometimes, just sometimes, that person who has to go out there and brave things that no one ever thought that they could, or face or change the world in the way they need to, it's those small moments where you can look back and go, oh my gosh, I actually did something worthy. And I think that's, for me, and I'm continuing to do it, is that I'm not stopped. Even though there were moments where I really just did not want to do anything anymore. I gave up on people. I gave up on myself. And then I look back and go, I've done something. Yeah.
You're definitely a beautiful soul and beautiful person.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. It was a great pleasure to talking with you and hosting you. I hope everyone right now is feeling educated, because it's important. And also, I want people to get inspired, just like me and like more of us. So thank you so much for sharing.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.